A young man who was quite a prolific sailor decided that he was going to attempt a long solo voyage, and everything went seemingly fine until one night a terrible storm broke out. The wind was howling, the waves grew huge, and water was slashing all over his little boat. The next moment, lightning struck his mast, and the sail caught fire, and as he was frantically trying to deal with that, he was hopelessly blown off course. And then, just as he thought things couldn't get any worse, the sailboat hit some rocks, and it got stuck. And with the force of the waves continuously pounding it, it wasn't long before it began breaking to pieces. And realizing what was about to happen, and without many choices left to him, he grabbed what he could, and knowing that land must be nearby, he abandoned ship and swam for the shore. The next day, after being washed out on a sandy beach, he went exploring and found that he was alone on a small, uninhabited island. He couldn't remember it on any map and realized that there wasn't much chance of him being rescued, as this was probably not on a shipping route. However, he decided to do what he could. He took all the driftwood and planks from the sailboat that had washed out and built quite an impressive shelter. He found a way to collect rainwater and scavenge as best as he could for food. And while he was doing all of that, he regularly watched the horizon for ships, but never saw anything. And over time, he didn't look up that much anymore. He settled for what he was now comfortable with. And then one day, after coming back from the other side of the island with some freshly caught fish, he saw that his shelter, the only home he now had, caught fire somehow, and it was just billowing smoke into the air, as it was burning to the ground with everything he possessed inside, and there was nothing he could do about it. And so he just went down on his knees and started crying out of sheer hopelessness, saying, "God, how could you have done this to me? Why is this happening to me?" I mean, he made the best of a bad situation. And just when he thought things couldn't get any worse for him, it did. He was at the end of what he could handle, and feeling utterly alone, lying on the sand, he eventually sobbed himself to sleep. Early the next morning, though, he was awakened by the sound of people shouting at him from a ship that was approaching the island. They have come to rescue him. And as he looked at them in disbelief, he asked, But how did you know I was here?" And they smiled and said, "It was hard to miss your massive smoke signal." Friends, maybe you're also in a situation where it feels as though things are going from bad to worse. And just when you thought nothing else could go wrong, it did. May I encourage you, though, not to lose hope, to not give up, because your story is not finished yet. And who knows, maybe your shelter burning to the ground will be the smoke signal that will also change how your story ends.